Because he was a who that changed the entire trajectory of what was possible and certainly how fast it was going to happen in my life. And I will forever be connected to him. I will be forever grateful to him. And I will always show up and fight right beside him anytime he needs me. Welcome, Coach Michael Burt.
For 2 days. These are the real troopers, Greg. These are the real troopers here, right? My name is Coach Michael Burt. I believe everybody needs a good coach in life. And I have a confession to make. Okay? Will you let me have a confession with you?
Yep.
I came here last night with a bad attitude. Attitude is a posture of the body which is represented by a mental state, by a physical state. And I know because I have a 9-year-old daughter. I'm constantly working on attitude. But I didn't have a bad attitude toward Greg. I didn't have a bad attitude toward you. I just kind of had a bad attitude toward life because I was tired. I've been on the road for a week. Been away from my 14-month-old son. Been away from my beautiful daughter. I've been away from my wife. So I came here, right, tired, exhausted, frustrated, and I sat right over there, kind of a little bit of a bad attitude. Any of y'all ever had a bad attitude? Raise your hand. And then Greg gives me the snowplow award for having a conversation with him that changed his whole life. And then I watched those young people get up here and sing with a passion and an energy and a drive. And as I was watching those young people, me and my bad attitude began writing down all of the things I was passionate about and all of the businesses that I was operating in. Because one conversation, one thing changed my whole attitude. Isn't that a good thing? So give those people a hand. Even a coach can have a bad attitude every now and then, right? So I'm going to talk to you about the power of one, man. One conversation. How many of you, your life has been changed by one thing, one person?
Yeah.
One conversation, right? For me, when I was putting this presentation together, I grew up in a small town in Tennessee, less than 2,500 people inside the city limits. There were 2 stoplights, if you ever grew up in a small town, right? And I was raised by a single mom who had me when she was 16 years old. And my mom and dad married for a year, mainly because I think my granddad said, you two are going to get married, right? And it wasn't a cool thing to do to have a kid at 16 in the 70s and go to school and have a kid, right? But my mom taught me we don't whine, we don't complain, we dress up, we show up, we grow up, and we deliver. She was tough, man. She wouldn't let me miss a day of school when I was growing up. And I hated it. Couldn't understand why you're so tough on me. When other kids get to miss, why can't I stay home, right? And she said, no, sir. We dress up, we show up, we grow up, and we deliver. We don't listen to our feelings. Amateurs listen to their feelings. Professionals do not listen to their feelings. And my mom taught me those things, and she used to take me down to the local baseball field where there was a woman named Mickey Benson. Mickey Benson was the Little League baseball coach who was a female coaching Little League baseball. And that woman fed me, tended to me, cared for me, and I would stay down there for hours and hours and hours while that single mom was working her second job, putting herself through nursing school. And she said to me at 6 years old, so one of these days you're going to be a great coach. This was a big revelation for me. I want you to write these 3 things down. Number 1, to do something big in the world, you first have to have some big revelation. Revelation is a sudden, dramatic moment. Sudden, dramatic. Son, one of these days you're going to be a great coach when you grow up in life. 6 years old. Because of that revelation, I then had a conviction. Conviction is a deep-seated belief. Okay? It's a deep-seated belief that you believe something deep in here, in your spirit. Because of my conviction, I was ready to take a lot of action. To do something big in the world, you go through that cycle. First, there's a big revelation. Because of the revelation, there's a conviction. Because of that conviction, you take a lot of action. And it was that woman down there who said, son, one of these days you're going to be a great coach. And I think about that in my life because she saw the good in me. My definition of leadership is affirming and validating the worth and potential and another person in so clear a way they begin to see it in their own self. You affirm and validate the worth and potential in another person so they begin to see it in their own self. I see something in you. I believe in you. You can do this. It's one. One person speaking something into your life. One person who affirms you. One decision. The word decide means to kill something off. The word decision means to cut something away. One decision backed up by small decisions every single day. See, when you're helping a person make a decision, you're helping them kill something off in their life. So when I think about that one person, I started going back in my life and I started looking at all of these things, because people ask me, when did you start coaching? It's really, at 6 years old, I had a revelation. I'm supposed to be a coach in my life. You see, I believe that you have birthday gifts that you've never opened. They were given to you at birth. They were hardwired into you by the manufacturer. You were manufactured by the manufacturer. And they were put into you very early in life. But you haven't found those gifts. You haven't found those talents. You haven't opened those talents. Or you don't know how to monetize those talents. They tell us that a talent in the Bible is worth $360,000. 2 talents, $720,000. 3 talents would be worth over $1 million. So the question would be, why don't people make $360,000 with their talent? Why don't they make $720,000? Because they don't know what their talent is, and they don't know how to package it, and they don't know how to what? Monetize it. So I want you to think about this right here. You have birthday gifts you haven't opened. At 6 years old, that woman was helping me to do what? Find my birthday gifts, given to me at birth. At 15 years old, I got a phone call from a local junior pro basketball coach. He said, son, I'd like you to help me coach a junior pro basketball team. I tell people I got dressed up in a suit to go coach junior pro basketball. I looked like a little Pat Riley coaching junior pro. But I was so passionate. Passion defined in the dictionary is an irresistible belief or motive or action. It's what drives your engine. It's what rows your boat. It's what gets you excited. The minute I started coaching those kids, Angela's son is starting to coach basketball. And I said, does he love it? She said, yeah. See, he may be the next Pat Riley. He may be the next Phil Jackson. He may be the next, right? Because he was turned on to something by somebody. So I was so passionate about coaching junior pro basketball. I'm only 15 years old, folks. I'm coaching 9 to 12-year-old kids. I'm up here yelling and screaming and jumping up and down and throwing my clipboards. I got ejected from a junior pro basketball game. 3 technical fouls. Thrown out of the gym at 15 years old. Started a long-standing relationship with me and referees all over the world. But I knew the second I was doing it, that's what I was supposed to be doing. See, last night when I had that bad attitude, when I was watching those and I was making my notes, I was reminded, I was alerted. And I guarantee you when Greg's mother was talking about the impact that Sharon has had, right, on her life, she too was reminded. Well, this is why we do what we do. This is our gift. This is our distribution of our talents to the world. And when you distribute your talents to the world at a very high level, the world rewards you in the form of love and appreciation and affirmation and reputation and referrals and ultimately money. But money is the 6th way we get paid. A guy walked up to me after a speaking engagement once and he said, I don't have $1 to give you. I'm broke. I'm going through a divorce. He said, but I'm interested in you. And you're going to change my life today. And I went home that night and I said, I got paid today. I didn't get paid in money, but I got paid in love and appreciation. See, the artist gives their talent, and the audience gives their love. That is an exchange of energy. Where's the rapper at that got up on stage last night? Is he here, an insurance rapper? Are you an insurance salesman?
Yes.
You sell insurance and you rap, right?
Yes.
Okay. When I was sitting there watching you, I kind of wanted to be a rapper too.
He was great.
I was watching Ben. When I was watching people, when just to sing one song, how excited they were. Like, I thought you guys would tear the whole stage up. And I thought, now that is the distribution of talent to the world. And when you guys were up there, I told my guy Mike, I said, that's talent. See, now the question will be, how do you monetize that talent? How do you package that talent? How do you distribute that talent to the world, right? This is what Tori's going through with the guys who are helping her. You know, how do you find, package, and monetize a talent in the world? Because I was a high school basketball coach making $24,000 a year. Working 80 hours a week. I used to work 8 hours a day on Sunday. I would get up to go to church on Sunday morning, then go to my office and work 8 to 10 hours. I did it for 10 straight years. Totally committed to one thing, winning a championship. That was it. I didn't have any friends. I didn't have any relationships. I didn't have anything. All I had was winning, man. I was totally committed to winning, right? And one day, just one day, I spoke on a stage because I sat down and wrote a book at 25 years old. One day, I wrote a book at 25 years old because people constantly ask me, what are you doing? And they paid me more in an hour than I made in a month. See, what I was learning was I had a talent. finding, packaging, and organizing content in a way that can get people to move, deconstructing ideas, and delivering those ideas with a cadence and a rhythm and a passion. That is my talent. I can't cook, I'm geographically illiterate. Last week I was in, South Dakota, I put her on Instagram, I was in North Dakota. I don't know the difference. Like Sioux Falls is in South Dakota. That's not North Dakota. See, that's not my talent, man. So as you think about your talent, this one person, see, you find your talent. This is what I'm going through with my 9-year-old daughter right now. I'm helping her find her talent, her God-given ability. How many of you believe your talents are recognized very early in life? They're typically recognized by who? Other people. That woman who saw the talent in me, I didn't know I was going to be a great coach. I went back and asked her, why did you think at 6 years old I was going to be a great coach? She said, you were always directing. You were always coaching. You were always the first one in. You always had a notepad. At 6 years old, she said, man, you were already coaching people at 6 years old. I didn't see it. She saw it. See, our talents are typically recognized by other people. Once found, we then have long cycles of time in that talent area. What if we could build our life around that talent? How many of you have ever went to a concert and paid a lot of money to watch an artist perform? All of us. What if I told you that you were paying good money to watch them work? They are working, right? Their whole lives are built around their talent, right? Garth Brooks, I use him because I'm from Nashville. He doesn't drive the bus. He doesn't sell the popcorn. He doesn't set up the stand. What does he do? He comes in and he just does what? What he was supposed to do. You may think that his talent is singing, but it's not. He can sing, but other people can sing better. His wife, if you watch the documentary, said his talent, my husband's talent, is connecting to other people. There is nobody in the world, she said, better than him. And connection. See, you look at him and say his talent singing. No, his talent is connection. He's just figured out how to connect to millions of people. So I'm going to teach you today how you build your life around your talent, where you do what you love doing, and the world rewards you in the form of that. Now this ties into a new book that's coming out in 2022. This is my 17th book that I've written, and this one almost killed me, Sharon. I spent 2 years writing this book, and then I get it finished, and my editor called me and said, hey, I think it can get better. And I'm like, all right? At first, I'm like, no, I can't do this again. But then I'm like, you know what, you're right. 17 books in, you don't want to write a bad book. So I need to get better. It needs to get better, right? But it is about flipping the switch in you. It is about activating something in you we call prey drive. It is about acting something deep inside you. Prey drive is an instinct to see something with the eyes or in the mind, optically in the mind, and pursue it with a persistence and an intensity, right? Do you think when you are playing in your strength area that you have the ability to flip that switch over and over and over again? Yes or no? Yes. But you can still get tired, you can still get burned out, you can still get exhausted, you can still have cycles of time where you lose your fire and energy, which is why last night was very important for me. To remind me, to alert me, to help me remember this is why you do what you do. This is how you help people around the world. And so this is kind of part of flipping your switch. Exposure is an activator of prey drive. Seeing something with the eyes, being exposed to something, being around people. How can you be around people like this and not get excited? How can you be around something this good and then not rub off on you? How can you be around people thinking this big and not want to do something bigger? Right, Brad? So when you're thinking about it, this is it. This is the purpose of the presentation. Find and build your entire life around your talents. And I think this will bring you a sense of joy. I think it'll bring you a sense of happiness. I think it's going to bring you a sense of purpose. I actually believe that you don't have to find your why to do something big in the world. I actually think your purpose finds you when you are pursuing something. Now, let me say that again. I know you've been taught you have to find your why and then you go do something big in the world. I actually believe that your why kind of finds you. I didn't know I wanted to write books until I started writing books. I didn't know I wanted to coach adults until I started coaching adults. Remember, I was a high school basketball coach coaching kids. I didn't know I wanted to do this. I wanted to grow up and be the next Gino Auriemma. See, I'm in Tennessee, so Pat Summitt was a big influence on me. I wanted to grow up and be a college basketball coach. I didn't know I wanted to coach adults until I started coaching adults, until I wrote that first book. So when you're thinking about it, how do you find this talent and move toward this talent? See, it was Mickey Benson who said, son, one of these days you're going to be a great coach, a word of affirmation or recognition of talent. If I asked you today what your talent was, could you tell me? I did a job fair probably 90 days ago, and people came from all over the country who said they wanted to work with me. And I asked them a simple question: what is your talent? What do you think people told me? I heard this one: I'm a good person. And I thought, that's actually not talent. It seems like talent in today's world, but it's not talent. Okay, I'm a people person, heard that one a lot. I'm like, great, okay, I can get myself dressed in the morning, good. Okay, I got a good attitude, great. What problem do you solve with your talent? Money changes hands when problems are solved. How do you use your talent to solve another person's problem? That is where the exchange of money happens, yes or no? See, but if you don't know your talent, you're a generalist. Generalists make general money. They're not specialists. Specialists make the most money because they specialize in something. If you want to make special money, then you got to specialize in something. So when you think about this, I started thinking, how do you build your whole life around your talent? So this is kind of the cycle. I was turned on to something by somebody. This is important of going to conferences. This is important to reading books. This is important to playing at a higher level. I took a step. I have a theory. When in doubt, take an action. When in doubt, take an action. See, part of what Greg just said is it's not always how, it's who. Who can help you? Who's the one person you need to reach out to? There's probably one person in your life that can help you do what you want to do if you just reach out to those people. Who is that person? Have you made that phone call? Why haven't you made that phone call? Who can get you to that next level? So when you're thinking about this concept, I kind of became a student of the game. And at 18 years old, there's another person who walked into my life. There's a guy named Don Meyer. Don Meyer was a great coach at David Livingstone University, a small Division III school. And he used to have coaching clinics where 600 to 800 coaches would go. And I'm a young 18-year-old coach. I'd never read a self-help book in my life. And I'd go to this workshop at Don Meyer. Every single player had notebooks. And every player, man, sat up in the front 1/3 of the seats and they made eye contact. Right? And he was a mentor and said, if you don't read another book this year, pick up a copy of The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. 18 years old. How many of you guys read that book? When I read that book at 18, I didn't understand. I thought a paradigm was a paradigma. I'm like, what are you talking about? We talking about paradigmas? And we didn't have that language in our school. Understand? And so I'm reading this book, and I thought, this is very important to the story, I thought I was learning those 7 habits. And here's what I say: when I become a head coach, I'm going to teach every player the 7 habits of highly effective people. I'm going to teach every player the principles of good to great. I'm going to teach every player the 5 dysfunctions of team. I'm going to teach every player the power of attention. Imagine your 14-year-old daughter playing for me and me teaching her those things 14, 15, 16, and 17. Imagine what kind of advantage she would have in the world learning those things at that age. But what I was really learning was very important. Is I was learning how to package a concept. See, the way Covey packaged those 7 habits by studying 200 years of success leadership and packaging them into a framework. See, that was brilliant. And that's what I was really learning. How do you position by concept? How do you package a concept into a way that millions of people can absorb it? One of the greatest concepts of all time was Rich Dad Poor Dad. Sharon Lecter. That is an incredible concept. Cash flow quadrant. That is a packaged concept. And I had a business coach once who said, position by concept. Learn to position by concept. Before you become known, before you become famous, create great concepts. The final percent is a what? Concept. Right? That attracts a certain type of person. So I was learning this, and I was starting to understand. See, that was Don Meyer. And that's what he told me. Go read this book. Go understand this thing. And then I had a path. Then I had understanding. Okay, man, now my visions get bigger. I don't just want to be a basketball coach. I want to be a basketball coach. I want to teach every player these things. But man, I want to be a master of human potential. I want to learn how to engineer people to play at the highest level. I want to learn how to touch people with the body, the mind, the heart, and the spirit. I want to become the best at what I want to do. I don't just want to be a high school basketball coach. I want to become a student of human potential. And so from 18 to 25, I studied one person, Covey. And I'm not talking about reading the book. I'm talking about going as deep as I can go. And I was teaching my player those concepts, right? And around 25 years old, people kept asking me, what are you doing? How are you doing? They kept saying I was brainwashing the kids. What are you teaching them kids? My mom teaching habits of success, right? But they knew we were winning. So people kept asking me, what are you doing? What are you doing? So I sat down and I wrote a book. I said, this is what I do. I'm changing lives through coaching. And I believe a good coach can change your life. And when I wrote that book, that's what companies began to call me. And I also said the same thing. We come over and speak to and motivate our people. The word motivate means to move. The word inspire means to breathe life into. And I would go over and speak for an hour to a company that said, we come back. I'm like, no, I'm coaching kids. Love coaching kids. Will you come back? Sure. I'm like, no, I'm not interested. And then they paid me more in an hour than I made in a month. And I said, somebody else will come along and love the kids as much as I do. Somebody else will love the kids. I actually stayed for 6 more years until we built the national championship program. And that's going on to win 7 of 9 championships in the next 10 years. And that would be part of my legacy. But it all started with that one dude right there telling me one thing: go pick up a copy of this one book. The Power of One. One conversation. Greg and I had one conversation at a hotel somewhere in Colorado, right? And I spoke some words into him. Now look at the manifestation of that. You're here. He's having a conference. Mama's doing the shirts. Mama's on stage singing.
Yeah.
Right? So here's the deal. Once you find your talent, I want you really thinking right now, what is your unique talent? That was me at 22 years old when I took over as the youngest head coach in Tennessee. That was me on championship night. There's no better night than being the best, man. Because when you're the best, there's nobody else. Like, you are the best, right? There's no, I would not trade one of those days, one of those 18-hour days for that one night right there, that I will have for the rest of my life. Once you find your talent, then there is a long cycle of practice in your talent area. And this is what's missing a lot in our society. See, there's a crawl, walk, run. Everybody wants to crawl, to run. When you see the great people, you go, man, it looks easy for that person. They've been doing it 20 years, man. They've been doing it 30 years. They've been working that muscle over and over and over and over. How many of you seen the Tiger Woods documentary? You see how Tiger Woods talked about his son when he was young? See, I believe talent many times is overrated. It's not that people are more talented than you. They just had a lot longer practice than you've had. If you started at 7 months old and you did something for 18 straight years, you would be great at it too. When did I start coaching? At 15 years old. I'm 45 years old. For 30 years, all I've been doing is coaching people. 30 years, long obedience in the same direction. Statistics tell us that the average 20 to 34-year-olds changing jobs at least 27 times. They start, quit, start, quit, start, quit, start, quit, start, quit. How can you become great when you start and quit that many times without this long cycle of obedience? So that was the first book I wrote when I was 25 years old. We don't sell that book because, well, mainly because it sucked. But I didn't have a lot to say at 25. But that book, writing that book changed my life. And you know why? If you pin me down today and say, what's the number one thing you did to become a person of interest in the world that started this whole journey and cycle for you, it was writing that book, because now I had a message. The book gives you a message. The message gets you in front of people. You don't need more money, you need more people. The people have the money. But without the message, you don't get in front of the people. The book forced me to have a message. I wouldn't be on book number 17 if I wouldn't have wrote that little book. I had no guidance, no editor, no anybody. My aunt that worked at a local university packaged it up. We printed it on an instant publisher. We bought 1,000 copies at a time. I tried to sell it to coaches, but coaches wouldn't buy it. I didn't get one coach to buy that book because I was competitors with them. I was 25 years old. What did they say? What's this 25-year-old going to teach me? Do you know, the week after I retired, my greatest competitor hired me to work with his team. He called me and said, will you come spend a week with my team? I'm like, I thought you hated me. He said, no, man, you just made us real insecure. Now that you're not a competitor, who would you come work with us? And I literally went and spent a week with my biggest competitor's team, teaching them how we were inter-engineered kids. It all started with that book. Now, here's my philosophy. You don't need more money, you need more people. The people have the money. How many of you need more people right now in everything you're doing? See, all of you are new to me. I didn't know you. I knew a few of you. If you have a message, you have to take that message to the world. People of interest have a big message. They got a big mission. They got a lot of movement. They got a clear message. They got a big mission, and they got a lot of movement. They're moving. They're circulating. They're going about there, right? People have the money. So what is your message? Is it tied to your talent? This is the revelation I have. I have a talent. You have a talent. This talent solves a problem for other people. I enjoy when I am playing in my talent area. How many of you enjoy?
Yeah.
Do you like performing or selling insurance?
Performing.
Okay, good. So here's the deal. Question is, how do you take your talent and do what? Get in front of who?
People.
More people. Because the people have the money. Right? If you enjoy doing it as much as I saw you enjoy doing it last night, you are utilizing your talent, you enjoy it, you're getting good feedback. Now the question is, how do you go out and get in front of more people? It activates and reactivates my brain. How many of you are doing something right now you shouldn't be doing? 70% of Americans say they're in a job that they're totally disengaged with, they're not supposed to be doing it. My wife sold cell phones for Verizon for years, she hated it, she knew she had a talent, she didn't know what it was. Yeah, you've heard me talk about my wife, she did drugs every single day from 21 to 24. She had no direction, no goals, no purpose, no dreams. I did not know her during the period of her life. Her company, Verizon, sent her to one of my workshops. They paid $50. She sat in the back, she took notes like crazy. She came up to me after and said, I want to meet with you. She was really pretty, so I'm like, I'm available right now. She's like, no, not like that. Like, I want to get serious about my potential. I know I have potential. I'm selling cell phones. I know I have a talent. She has a gift of hospitality. Now in our business, we do retreats. My wife handles the hospitality. We're now doing couples retreats around her book called Living with a Monster. How do you live with an obsessed person? My wife is now coming into her own. Sharon mentioned the other night, she's watching her come into her own. Right? Now I'm watching my wife step into her talents. And guess what's happening? Her confidence is just going up and up and up and up and up. So now she's attracting other women. What are you doing? This is the same person that did drugs every day for 3 years, from 21 to 24. Now she is stepping into her talent. The switch has been flipped. So how do you do this? I'm a coach, so I like drawing things. This is on my iPad. This is how you find your talent.
Oh,
Okay?
wow.
Number one, if I ask you what your talent, your very specific talent is, what would you tell me? I think talent is very specific. My talent is packaging or organizing or packaging a concept. Codifying, breaking down a concept, deconstructing that concept, and then packaging and delivering that content to people in a way that gets them to activate something inside of them. I call that something prey drive, which is an instinct to see something and pursue it. That is my talent. I'm going to show you how to use that talent in just a second. So number one is, what are you really good at? What are you really, really, really good at? It comes natural to you. Why is it natural to you? It was given to you when?
At birth.
At birth. It was a birthday gift. Manufactured in you by the manufacturer. All we have to do is discover it. Why would 7 out of 10 people in America get up and go do something that is outside of their talent area and hate their job because they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing? See, 15 years old, I'm like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to be coaching people. I know it. This is it. Now the question is, how do I go out and monetize? How do I make money? For years, it was making $25,000 a year as a basketball coach. Then it was moving to how do we make $25,000 a day. Then it's how do we make $250,000 in a day. Then it's how do we take our talent to bigger arenas and bigger audiences. How do we make $1 million in a day? Yeah. We just need more people. Because you don't need more money, you need more people. Because the people have the money. If you get in front of people, right? Are there artists out there that make $1 million a day doing something? Yes or no?
Yeah.
So there's no reason that young man right there can't do it. There's no reason other people can't do it if you're doing it. So I first find what I'm really good at, and most Americans will never go through this. They'll never take time to do this. Right? I was in college for 9 years to pursue 3 degrees. I never had one class on how to find my talent. My daughter goes to a private Christian school right now. I called the principal one day. How many classes do you have in finding talent? Well, we don't have one on that. What about how to bounce back? What about how to use your talent? What about how to package and market your talent? Right? How does Tori Cruz take everything that she's learned and package it up and go sell it to the world?
You hire Coach Bird.
Great answer. Now, the second thing is passion. I hear people say this all the time. I totally disagree with it. Listen, you don't do things you're not passionate about. Listen, the Navy SEALs, you have to embrace the suck. You have to suck the sour to get to the sweet, man. Okay, right or wrong. You don't just jump right into something and do it. There is periods of time where you got to do things you don't want to do. But at the end of the day, passion is the fuel, man. It's the fuel. It's an energy. Third question is, where is there a problem in the world? I coach a lot of people who have a talent but have no idea how to solve a problem. How to package that talent up and solve a problem for other people. That's where the monetization comes in. When your talent solves a problem. If you came to me tomorrow and said, I could sell 1 million of your books, right? But I want 50% of it. You know what I would say? Sharon, what would I tell you? I'm in. If you could sell 1 million of my books and you want 50% of the take, I'll take that deal right now if you can do it. Why? Because that solves a problem for me. That solves a problem. So how do you use your talent to solve a problem for other people? And here's the biggest one, conscience. Every night when I sit down, I map out my next day. And I write out what I'm going to be doing. Right now, this little remarkable, it's really cool when I draw it out on my iPad. Every night, I write down success goals for kids. You're supposed to be doing success goals for kids. Now, here's the deal. I fight that. It's like we having a conversation with God, and I'm going, I spent a decade with kids. I'm done. I got my own 2 kids. I'm not doing more things for kids, right? So then why every night that I sit down do I write down success goals for kids? Even when I'm writing, it's almost like I can't control doing it. See, some people believe conscience is God's voice to his children. And I think God is telling me, you're going to use your talent to help kids.
Wow.
And you can fight it as long as you want to. And you can tell me no as much as you want to. But I'm going to remind you every night when you write down your next day what you're supposed to be doing. So now we're in talks with online schools to build success schools that focus on confidence, grit, leadership, communication, to do all the things for kids that I did for high school basketball players when I was a basketball coach. Right? Because I fought it as long as I can fight it. That is conscience. Every person in this room has a prompting. This is how you're supposed to use your talents to the world and distribute. How many of you believe when you distribute your talents to the world at a very high level, the world rewards you? The world recognizes you. The world rewards you in the form of what? Love and money and recognition. Right? This is the exchange that you get. When you are distributing your talents, when you are off talent, when you don't know your talent, what happens is you play a very low frequency. And the world says back to you, is this it? Is this all you got? That's all you're going to give us? Is this right here? So in exchange, we're going to give you this right here. You're playing at a low level, I'm going to give you a low level back, man. You're playing at a high level, I'm going to give you a high level back. That's what the world is saying to you. Because the market never lies. The market always tells us. So when you think about this, I put up here, how do I use this talent? How can you use your talent? I want you thinking right now, how many different ways you can use your talents in. At first, it was coaching basketball for me. Then it became speaking and writing books. Then it became coaching companies. Then it became this, right? And I started saying, how do I use my talents to go around the world on my own plane? How do I use my talents to speak on stages in front of 10,000 people? How do I use this talent to do events around big concepts? How do I use this talent to write books? See how many different ways you can distribute your talent to the world? All these ways. Every person here should be writing their own books. You should be on stages. You should be having a podcast. You should be doing this because you got something to say, man. How do I get on podcasts around the concepts that I create? How do I put my programs into online programs that we can distribute around the world that's scalable? How do you use this one talent and take it in multiple directions? See, this is how I want you thinking. Greg is using his talent. There's a success school, me with 50 kids in my lodge in Tennessee. Is that using, are all these using the same talent? Yes or no? See, your talent, you can pick it up and you can take it to the family. You can take it to Colorado. But see, Greg is now combining, I call this edutainment. He is now combining music and motivation. Everybody with me? I mean, the motivational album, man, it's a new way to distribute the same talent. So I want you to get out of your mind that I got this one talent because I was a high school teacher for a decade. And I would say to other teachers who I knew were miserable, why are you doing this? Here's what they would say, teacher would be great if it wasn't for all the kids. I'm like, why did you get into teaching? I said, well, nights off, weekends off, summers off. I'm like, you should have got into teaching because you love kids. And you want to help people do better. And they said, well, here's what they would say to me. Well, what else would I do? What else would I do? This is all I know how to do. Are you motivated? Are you a psychologist? Do you do conflict resolution during the day? Hal Urban wrote a book called Life's 20 Greatest Lessons. He sold 10 million copies out of his garage. And I said, you know what Hal Urban did for a living? They said, no. And I said, he was a high school teacher. If you self-published that book and you just made $1 off every book or $10 off every book, and he was a high school teacher. But you're telling me that's all you can do. See, once you find your talent, you can then distribute that talent the way you want to distribute it. So let's close by talking about how This is my greatness factories. This is the original design of greatness factories they were trying to build around the country. This is another way to distribute talent. Elegant and unique real estate place where people come to learn, grow, connect, exchange energy. Just one more way to design talent and use talent. You have to decide how you're going to use that talent. So I'll close with this. You say, why is this important? I've spoken at 2 funerals in my lifetime where they did not have someone to give the eulogy. So they called me. They said, we know you speak, and we know you don't really know this person, but we need somebody to deliver the eulogy. They don't have really a pastor or anybody. Will you do it? And I said, sure. I just need to talk to 3 people. I need to talk to a family member. I need to talk to a friend. I need to talk to somebody they work with. And I just got to ask a couple questions because I need something to say at the funeral. And so I would ask this question. You were around them a lot, yes? And I said, well, what kind of dreams did they have? And they said, well, they really didn't have any dreams. I said, well, how many people did they impact? I said, well, they didn't really impact them. What kind of big things were they involved in? Well, they really weren't involved in any big things. Do you know what impression it left on me to give the eulogy at a funeral for a person that lived 84 years on planet Earth and I didn't have anything to say? The only thing I kept hearing was they were a good person. And I walked out of there and I said, man, maybe 30 people showed up at the funeral. And I walked out of there and here's what I said. I'm not going to live 84 years on planet Earth and get to the end of my life. And the only thing you can say about me is I was a good person. I'm going to find my talent. I'm going to take my talent to the world, and I'm going to help millions of people with my talent. And that is my mission in life. So if you're here today and you're thinking, man, I need to get serious. I need to be interested in my potential. I need to quit being casual with my talent. I need to take my talent to a higher frequency. If a high school basketball coach can go from where I am to what I get to do every single day, then you can too, man. So Greg, I want to thank you for reminding me and alerting me last night to my potential and helping me go from having a bad attitude to a good attitude. I'm Coach Michael Bird. Thank you guys for that.
What a great way to have the last speaker bring down the house.